Hey guys, so I'm just jumping on because I realized I didn't tell you guys how I got diagnosed, and it was honestly an accident. And I didn't tell you my A1C. I really didn't tell you much of anything. So my A1C was 6.8. I had been pre-diabetic. I knew that. I kind of thought everybody was pre-diabetic at a certain age, and I know that's really stupid. I'm in my 30s, but I kind of thought that that was like something everyone has. Apparently, it's not. Um, so that was kind of naive for me to think that. But he didn't seem concerned, my doctor, and I have a really great doctor. He did say, cut out on the carbs and stuff. And I will say the 3 months that they did my A1C for, I was taking care of my mother who passed away, and I think I ate more carbs in that 3 months than I ever have in my entire life. So I'm expecting my numbers to be drastically different, but even if I can lower them a little bit, I'm okay with that. I do walk every day, except for right now I'm sick, and it seems to be quite difficult. I lose my breath quite easily. I'm out of shape to begin with, so working out is something I've never done. My weight was also something that my doctor noticed that I didn't. I didn't notice that I gained 11 pounds, and I'm short, so I should have, but I didn't. Um, I don't look what I weigh, if that makes sense. But I went there for hives. I had hives, and I went to the walk-in clinic because they were like on my face, and I was afraid of going anaphylactic or whatever. Because let me start off with I'm a hypochondriac, which sucks to begin with, and I have MS. So I like freak out about everything. If I have a headache, it's a brain tumor. I'm like that type of person. But I was scared that I was going to go into anaphylactic shock because they were just getting so close to my, some people get them in their throats or whatever, and they were on my face, so that was terrifying for me. And Benadryl was not working. I had only had hives once before in my life, and I know exactly what it was from. I bought a pair of these, like, hot pink pants, like sweatpants, and they were a tighter fitting sweatpants, and I didn't wash them, so I know that that's what caused my hives. Benadryl worked right away. This one had not. Benadryl didn't do anything. I took some hydrocodone, I think it's called. That didn't do anything. And I thought, well, that's weird. So I went to the doctor, not my doctor, but, a doctor. And I'll never forget this because they never tell me this. Like, if I go there, like, I have a cold right now, if it turns into bronchitis or something, I'll go and they'll say, follow up with your doctor in a week if you're still having symptoms, or 2-3 days, whatever. I remember they took my blood sugar because they'd asked if I had any other symptoms. And I said, yeah, actually, if you want to check for a urinary tract infection, that'd be great because I'm peeing a lot. But I was also drinking more coffee, so I wasn't sure if that, was why. But I thought, why not? Since I'm here, just get that done and over with because they were doing a urine sample anyways. And I remember they took my blood sugars, and it was 143. And I remember the nurse saying, oh, that's not bad considering you just ate. And I remember thinking, well, I hadn't just ate. But that was kind of like it. They didn't say, oh, you might have diabetes or anything. But they did say, see your doctor immediately for a follow-up, which I never see ever. So I eventually went to my doctor because the hives weren't going away. At that point, I kind of had chucked the frequent urination to me drinking more coffee because I had been having a lot more coffee than usual. And I think the frequent urination or even the hives, I honestly don't know because nothing had changed. I had not eaten anything different. I had no new clothes that I hadn't washed. Like, there was nothing that I could think of that was different. I've always had not always, but always. For a long time, I've had the numbing in my hands and feet, and that's common with MS as well. So maybe that's kind of why that was blown off for so long. I really don't know. I don't know what the determining factor was for him to test that, but he did mention that he was going to test for that, and I thought, well, it will just come back as pre-diabetic like always. I went home thinking he'd call me and tell me it was pre-diabetic, and maybe it had went up a little bit because I know I'd ate really unhealthy those prior 3 months that he was testing for. And he called me and said, you've got type 2 diabetes. I didn't know what to do. I said, do I need to test my blood? He's like, no, not at this point. He gave me an option for the metformin. I decided to opt out of that and just wait and see what happens in December when I go back. And I'm hoping that my numbers are lowered on their own. with diet and exercise. We do have a home gym that my husband put together as soon as I was diagnosed, because obviously I want to keep my pancreas working as long as possible. And I know that someday it's not going to, and that's really scary. And the side effects are scary. And I have a mom who, she's passed away, but both my parents have actually. But my mom had an aneurysm. She had strokes. She had blood clots. My dad had heart attacks. So, I mean, I'm taking this as seriously as anyone. The first thing I did, and if you knew me, I started drinking black coffee. I stopped putting a lot of sugar in my coffee at one point. I did keto for 6 months, 6 or 9 months. I really can't remember. And it was great. But the thing that made me cheat was fruit. So that's why I've decided to do low carb, not keto, because, I mean, if fruit is what makes me cheat on keto, I can't do it. I need my fruit. I need my fruit. I don't eat bananas. I don't eat anything super high in carbohydrates. I do eat grapes because they're good for heart health. And again, with the history that I have for my family, it's important to me to keep my heart healthy. I'm not concerned about fats. As long as I keep my carbohydrate levels to what I feel is comfortable, I'm not too concerned about fats. That's not going to be... But I'm not looking to overdo the fats either, if that makes any sense. But that's how I was diagnosed. I didn't know anything. He did set me up with a dietitian who specialized in diabetes. I went and saw her. She said, get a monitor, check your sugars. You'll be able to tell on your own, or get a good idea of what your next A1C is by your numbers. And so far they've been really good, except for things like, I hate being sick. I had a cookie from Starbucks. Oh my God, one of those giant chocolate chip cookies warmed up. My absolute favorite. And I was drinking, and I'm not exaggerating, anywhere from 1 to 3 to 4 mochas a day, every day during the week for forever. And I stopped that. I do still have a mocha once a week. I get 2 shots. I don't do sugar-free. I do 2 shots, and I drink about half of it. And it does not take me out of my comfort zone. So I'm happy with that. I'd be happier if I could drink the whole thing, but I can't, and I'm okay with that. But I gave up my coffee creamers and any type of artificial sweetener, and I drink it black. First thing I did, and my weight is, I don't know if my weight's down because I'm not going to weigh myself, but my inches are definitely down. Obviously I'm still working on that. I need to lose more than the 11 pounds I gained, and I fully intend on it. But yeah, that's how I got diagnosed. It was an accident. I would say I didn't have any symptoms, but when I think back, there was a time when I was at work and my eyes just got, excuse me, super weird, and I felt really dizzy. I'm thinking that might have been the diabetes. My average, so my A1C was 6.8, so for my average was 140 to 150 for blood sugars. Thankfully, since I've started testing, I've not seen that number except for when I had that cookie, and when I had some split pea soup, it went up quite high. Not nearly as high, but it was 146 or something like that. I have it all logged. My numbers are logged, so I can kind of keep an eye on, and with that, I was doing what I ate and stuff, which is why I want to do these videos, to kind of just see how I am doing and look back and see what I need to change, if I need to change something after December, and I definitely will. I'm by no means extremely knowledgeable in diabetes. This is new to me, but I take it as seriously as I can, knowing I have to live this way my whole life. I will not cut out everything because I know I'm doomed for failure if I do that. With that being said, I'll never have that fucking chocolate chip cookie again because that was terrifying. My numbers went up to almost 300, and I just won't do that to myself because of how paranoid I am about everything else. But I will have, a piece of cake, a small one, to keep my portions in check, and I won't do it every day. I'll do it at a birthday party or some type of celebration. But it doesn't have to be at every birthday party. I've never had a piece of cake at every party. So just if I'm really craving it, I'll do it. But for now, my go-to for sweets are fruits and sugar-free pudding with whipped cream. That's it. If I'm craving chocolate or candy bars, And when I look back at what I was eating at work, I had quite a few candy bars and cookies that I just didn't think about at the time. So when I'm really craving one of those, and I only save it for when I'm having like a can't get rid of it, ready to jump in the car and go get a candy bar type of craving, that's when I'll have a sugar-free pudding and some whipped cream. So yeah, that's my story. I thought I would just share that with you guys because I didn't. So my doctor gave me 3 months to do diet and exercise and get my numbers down. And if I do, I will have to continue that for the rest of my life. So I'm really trying to find out what works for me. And I'm hoping that a lot of my recipes you guys can use, even if you don't follow the same diet as me. Some of them are going to be very keto friendly. All of them will be low carb. Even if I have a sandwich, it's going to be the lowest carb count possible because I will use, like I said, 1 slice of bread and keep everything else minuscule. Like I usually have cucumbers as a side with my sandwich, or sometimes grapes. I'll have grapes and berries throughout the day because, like I said, I'm going to do the grapes, kiwis. I will eat kiwis. They don't spike me, and I don't eat that many, but they're good for my heart. So, and I know everybody's got their own opinions, but that's just something that I'm sticking with regardless. So yeah, that's my story on how I was diagnosed. And again, I've got about another hour before I come back with my blood sugar. So I'll see you guys then. Have a good day. I'll see you in a bit.